So, anyways, I kind of wanted to go through and see what you've done so far for the final, um, and then also figure out here. Let me see something. So, Jackie, you have your wireframe set up. When do you know what you're doing for the final project?
I haven't figured out what the content is gonna be yet. But I do want to use that um what was it called? The hover over thing that you were talking about. I'm not sure if you talked about it. Um
Oh,
yeah.
okay, sure. Yeah, yeah, I'll show you. So that's pretty straightforward. So if you want to do some sort of hover instead of a carousel,
Uh-huh.
like I have, you're just going to have to use the hover pseudo style selector. So here, I actually do have an example. So this code here has that hover effect. So what I have is just, let me clean it up. Down below, I have a div. The class is called change image. There's nothing in it because the style is going to determine the height and the width and the background image. So here I have a background image in the actual selector for that class, which is change image, and the background image is here. So it's another screen grab from that video. And then down here I have the hover effect. So it's using :hover to create the hover effect. So basically what this is doing is if you add a colon and hover to any class that you have set and change anything within that new style, the hover effect's gonna take place and change the div to whatever you have to correspond with that. Um, so here is the actual, well, here, I'll save this. So now if I hover over this, it becomes red because this image slider here is being changed to this background. You can change anything. So if I change the height or the width, when I hover over there, it's going to get wider. So that's pretty much it for the hover effect. You just have to add :hover to that class that you want to change or whatever it is, whatever type of selector, ID selector, and then change any of the actual attributes, and that will change. So what you would do for that, for this assignment, you would maybe have a before and after shot. And here, if I change this to background image, URL, and then pick another image, now it changes images. Now I'll make this one. And that's it.
Oh.
So that's pretty simple.
Oh, I thought it'd be a lot more complicated than that using jQuery.
No, it would be more if you wanted to use jQuery, you could actually do the same thing, but it's kind of that's a little bit more complicated. So uh, you can try jQuery if you want to, but you'll probably have to do some more research if you want to do something in particular. So here's an example of jQuery. Uh-oh, I hear like a weird beeping noise. Hold on. So here's an example using jQuery that's a little bit more involved. This is something else I'm working on. So the jQuery in this is a slider. So when I slide this back and forth, it changes the image. So this is what you would call like a before or after slider. Um, if you look at the jQuery query for this, though, it gets a little bit more complicated, but if you want to try something like this, you can.
Oh, good lord.
Let me open up. So here I'm going to open up the jQuery for this. Let's see where it's at. Um, Here, I think it's in here. It's this main. So this is getting way more complicated. So there's a lot of code here. Um, but I can send you this as well if you want to look into this.
What's with the the x's?
You know what? This is just brackets giving you some sort of error. So it's saying that you have some issues with these lines. Um, but like if I there should be, if I click on this here, this little yield triangle with the exclamation point, it's showing you what these issues are. Um, a lot of it is just it's not like the jQuery is wrong. Um, and I think what it is too is the fact that it's looking at this as JavaScript, and there's a JavaScript file that is working with this jQuery function. So here's that jQuery. Here where it says jQuery, that can also be a $sign. But it's just looking at this as JavaScript, and it's not recognizing the fact that it's actually using another bit of JavaScript. So it's just basically saying that all this stuff is undefined, but it actually is in the other jQuery link that is being used for this project. So for this project, the jQuery is set up externally, along with the main. Remember, with jQuery, you have to use a CDN because you're actually pulling from a larger jQuery document. You know how we had it minified. So this is the code for the actual effect. But in addition, you have the more jQuery that works with this. But this is actually, the effect itself is already built. All you need to do is change images. So that's all this is doing. This is basically looking for the two images that go inside of this. So if you look at the HTML, right here, it's just basically looking for these classes that are called CD resize IMG, and then it's just basically looking for this image. That's it. So if you change the images, it's actually pretty simple to utilize, but it's a little bit harder to actually understand what's happening. Because now you're dealing with things that go beyond just a hover. You're dealing with the reveal of something and the size of something as it's being dragged back and forth to reveal that. So I can send this to you as well, and you can play with this. A lot of jQuery is pretty deep, so we don't have time to really get into too much jQuery. And I can try to get you more examples, but here you just have to do some research on it. You just kind of figure out different things that you may want to do with it. And I think, oops, let me hide this. So those are like three basic examples of using jQuery or using interactive elements. You got like hovers, you can use the bootstrap, carousel, or if you want to use some jQuery, you can play with something like this. So what is your going to be your the process that you're going to cover?
Okay. I just thought thought this right now, but I guess it's sort of based on an idea I had years ago. So like um it's like you remember Pokemon Go?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So like so so like you know how the app is like it helps you it helps you find like Pokemon like virtually find Pokemons within our our reality, kind of like AR. So
Right.
what something like that. I take pictures of random places of my home, and then like with the hover button, you'll find like little critters, like creatures, a little ghost, using the little hover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not
So,
necessarily like a story, but it's like Pokemon game of some sort, or like Ghostbusters.
oh, okay. So, yeah, when we talked last, you were going to use your project from your other coding class, which was a story of a flower growing. But is this what you're going to change it into then? Basically, you go maybe there's the first page and it talks about what this game is, and then you go to the second page where you have a gallery, and maybe the galleries are hovers,
Yeah, something like that.
and maybe that'd be kind of cool. I mean, you could. Um, Let me bring back my second page here. So what you could do is instead of just having static cards like this, each one is a hover, and maybe it tells a story, about something that's hidden. This is the type of thing that hides here, and you would have to maybe take a photo of some place by your house. Maybe there's a tree, like a certain spirit likes to hide behind this tree. It's kind of like Miyazaki and Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Like it was in like a really small area, right? It was like the wasn't it some like what was it like where did the parents took her to this like was it like a campground or something or
No, it was like an abandoned amusement park.
oh, abandoned amusement park, yeah, and then the parents started eating and they became pigs, and then
Yeah.
the girl was just stuck there. But it seemed like different aspects of the amusement park had different creatures living in different areas. Maybe that's how you do it. The what lives around my house kind of story. So yeah, each one of these could be part of that story, and then you do a hover for each one, and then you can tell that story. You just got to script it out. So that's yeah, that could be a good idea. What about you, Jackie? What is your concept?
So for me, I was just going to do like a tutorial, I guess, on do you guys know what Dutch baby is? It's like a pancake style.
Yeah, it's a giant pancake.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of it's like I guess like a cooking step by step, but just make it like super simple.
Oh, that's
And yeah, I might just do a carousel of it and the first page of it, like the different processes and the final product. And then like the second page will just be like the different steps. And I think I might implement doing GIFs for those.
okay. Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good idea. The Dutch baby, there's too many steps in it, right?
Yeah, it's not like too complex.
So okay, yeah, that should be a fun one. Um, so so let me see now. So I think those are both really good ideas. I just want to make sure now you're both comfortable with all the steps, right?
Hmm.
So would you actually make a Dutch baby? then?
Yeah. I made it for the first time last week, and it was actually it was the second time because the first time it was like kind of a fail, but then the second time was actually really good. So yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to make one and then take pictures
Yeah.
um, of the whole process,
Hmm.
and you can even try recording a video and then take screen grabs of the video,
Yeah.
and then yeah, then go through the whole steps, and then maybe your first page are you going to do a carousel? What's going to be the interactive part?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a carousel.
So you do the carousel, and then you list the ingredients on that first page, and then your second page is step by step, just like this,
Hmm.
and then the third page is the contact form. Um, so were you able to get your contact form to work um, for
Yeah.
the last assignment for the landing page?
Yeah.
Um, what about you, Wen? Were you able to get your contact form to work for the
Like
last assignment?
like if someone like signed up, it actually sends the information to your email. No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, you didn't get? Did you? That was for the wig page, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you try to actually use it, or
When I was first working on it, yeah.
um, yeah, you just have to send the PHP to the server at Alta Vista. Um,
Okay,
so
take a look at it and see
so
if that's
okay,
okay,
yeah, I'll
right?
look. Yeah, I'll look at it. It's pretty easy to get that to work. Um, but I guess for now, then, since you guys are moving right along with everything, just go ahead and work on your wireframes. And I think both of you are pretty much you know done with everything else, right? Like all your assignments are finished.
Yeah.
Um, so go ahead and work on wireframes. Now here, my examples, it's pretty plain. Like I have a plain background. The title's not too exciting. The font's not too exciting. So think about all those aspects of it too, the design, and really focus on making like a really nice design and something that really fits it within your idea. So like when you may have to do a lot more work in terms of drawing and creating little creatures, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. And then think about the style and all those things. And then for next Saturday, which will actually be our last class before the final. So we have next Saturday, and then the finals due the week after that. Um, Try to get as much as you can done, and come up with some sort of style um, for that as well. Like a style tile. You know, the, just so we can see that what the style is going to be, and kind of make sure that it has a look and feel that we want to establish for the site.
I have a
Oh,
question.
Yeah,
You know how to make like a personalized font, like create your own font?
yeah, that's like a whole other subject.
Is it is it hard?
Well, actually, for me, it's easy because I got a tool. It's actually pretty cool. I talk about this in my other class, so I'll show you real quick. It's actually a lot of fun, actually, and I have some font projects that I'm working on that I'm gonna probably finish once the term ends. So basically, what I have here is this tool, and like really quickly, what I'll do is here I'm gonna fake it really quickly. So let's say this is this font that I created. So I'm gonna convert this to outlines in Illustrator. Let's see. So I'm going to convert this to outlines, and I'm going to change each of the characters just a little bit. Let's say this is some weird font that I decided to come up with. If I can get this to behave. Just want to change these. So I'm just kind of stretching out the characters. So it's this weird distorted font, let's say. So what I have is this plugin for Illustrator. Let's say that's my font, but it could have been, this could be anything. It could actually be images, characters. It could be really anything. But I have this plugin called Font Self. So if you have this plugin, I think it was like, I don't think it was that expensive. I think it was probably like $30. Give it a few seconds. I actually have a couple fonts in here already. So this is from my other class where we worked on these different illustrations to create like a emoji font or emoticon type font. But here, if you just select your text or whatever you want, and you have each thing as a separate piece of artwork, and you go to new, and you say new font, actually, I guess you drag and drop it. And I think here too, I have to make sure that all this stuff is ungrouped. So let me go back. So see how it separated each character?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your whole alphabet and you have it in order, it will do it in the proper order. And then basically once you are happy with it, you just go to save and give it a name, you know, whatever, my font, hit OK. And it saves it right here. So, and then it saves it as an open type font. But at the same time, what you would do for your web font, I think here, click on use web and mobile. I think it will save it once you have the plugin. It will save it as a web font as well. And here it goes to this site called Font Self. And there's the font right there. So there's only 5 characters because I only made 5 characters. I think then what you do is you publish it, and you can either download it or click here, and let's see. I think it should give you the actual code that you would need to add to your style sheet here. But I think I have to publish it. But I don't want to publish this because it's just something I kind of made really quickly. But yeah, so this is I did some research on different tools out there, and I found that this Font Self was the least expensive one and the easiest one to use. And it's actually pretty cool. Like once you get into it, if you look up in my font folder here, here's a couple fonts that I did for my other class. Here is so I have a student, and she had some artwork with this cat, and this is her font. Basically, it's like dingbats, dingbats. So I can use my keyboard to create all these different dingbats. So it's kind of a neat way to create a personalized font. You could use your own if you have like a tablet, draw on the tablet like a Cintiq, and um, it makes things easy.
Say you like downloaded a font, I guess, library from online. I try to like use the font that I have in this folder um in um in the last assignment, but only the capital letters were I was how do I how do I how do I say this? Like only the capitalized letters are like the font that I wanted, and the lowercase letters are um not.
So wait, you're saying that when you used it, you did not get um, all the characters available in the font?
Yeah, let me show you.
Sure. Are you? Was it?
God dang it.
How are you using it? Because you can use the at font face rule um, in your head tag. You create this at font face, and then you basically save the
Oh,
font, but you got to convert it to this WOFF format. So,
WOFF. Let me see if it is already that.
yeah, basically, if you let's say you download the font and it's an OTF, an open type font, you have to find a converter to convert to this WOFF format.
Okay.
And
Um,
you'll find them online. There's different ones that exist for free. So you can convert it from open typeface to WOFF.
they're in TFF.
So that's a true type font, but it's the same thing. So TFF um, is a true type, true type font. That's what it stands for. Um, so true type fonts are actually some of the original fonts. You have PostScript and true type. And some of the very early fonts were true type fonts, but you can still convert the true type font to OTF as well. So yeah, that's the problem. So it's the same
OTF?
thing. You can convert it to, you want to convert it over though. And then once you convert it over, save the font in a folder that you're going to upload to the server, and then use this at font face rule to identify that font. So you're going to use source. That's going to point to the folder that contains the WOFF file. And then you're going to give that font family a name. And then you can apply that name to your. So here's an example. So you at font face, let's say this person called this one Bitstream Vera Serif Bold. Here's the true type. But I would still convert that over because I think that's going to help. I guess you don't need to, but I would still convert it over. And then you apply it using the font family attribute. So I don't know, did you use this at all? Did you use at font face?
Uh, no.
Yeah, so that's what you have to do. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Oh wait.
by
Um.
default, it's not going to recognize a true type font.
Okay. I don't think I used that. I used CSS.
Yeah, you can show me if you want to share.
Oh, I just used like um font family, font weight, font size, that kind of
Y-
thing.
Yeah, you either have to use a web font, like a Google font or something from like Font Squirrel,
Uh-huh.
or you have to use the at font face rule.
Okay.
But yeah, if you try to use a true type, it's not going to really recognize it as a web font. So yeah, so that's what the issue is. So yeah, so yeah, so either convert it over. Yeah, yeah. This tool here, font self, is really made for creating original, unique fonts, your own font. That gets into a whole, kind of fun area of typography and type design, which can be fun. Like I really enjoy it. So, anyways, do you guys have any other questions then about the final?
No.
So, so okay. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this new template. So if you want to go ahead and use the Bootstrap version of the gallery, you can. Um, Otherwise, you can come up with your own. Um, but the GIF should work just fine. And like, yeah, when instead of using the Bootstrap one, you can create a series of divs and use floats, and then use the hover on each one of those divs to tell your story. So, all right. Well, I don't see anybody else here today. Um, so I've spoken to everybody individually. We had little individual conferences. Um, but looks like you guys are doing good. So that's all I have for today. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next week and just keep on working on the final.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you. And I will talk to you later. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.